It's currently 2 p.m. on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and I had the goal of heavily trimming back this tree, which is overleaning the house and it's over the pond. Very tricky tree to handle. But on Friday, which was 2 days ago, I was fighting a brush fire with my local volunteer fire department, and I ended up pulling my shoulder slightly, so today I just wanted to take it easy and let this heal up a bit. During that brush fire, something happened that frightened me and has encouraged me to make this video. So when I got there, there were already a bunch of units on the scene, and it was along the thruway, and the wind was very windy that day, and the wind was blowing the fire up the mountain. So I went with one of the first two crews, and we were fighting the fire line. We were trying to contain that fire line. We probably had 1,000 feet of forestry line up there, and we got the leading edge contained. But on the far side of the fire, it started to burn into some trees, and there was a dead ash tree that it must have been pretty hollow on the inside, and the fire got inside the tree, and it must have been slowly eroding or burning away the inside of that tree, and eventually a gust of wind came through and it took this tree over. There were guys maybe 20 feet away from that tree. Thankfully it fell away from them, but it was pretty scary, really scary. Why should you watch this video? Why should you pay attention? You know, I just Googled what are the chances of dying by a falling tree. The chances are 1 in a million. But just take that brush fire I was fighting, for example, the other day. That tree let go. Of course, it was under extraordinary circumstances, but we were not expecting that. We were not prepared for that. Nobody was looking for signs of weakness in the tree. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to identify some of the warning signs that a tree is about to fail, and also other things to look for when performing a hazard assessment when it comes to trees. After that fire the other day, I decided to do a thorough tree hazard assessment around my property, and today I'm going to focus on what's along the interior portion of the property, specifically along the grass line. Let me show you what I found. It might be surprising. Without even moving the camera stand, look at this tree to the left of the trailer. If you go up the tree, you can see where the tree has had a massive failure at one point, but that's not even what I'm mainly interested in. If you look slightly to the left of that, look at this branch right here. This is hanging on this tree by a thread. This is what we call a widowmaker, in which a gust of wind, or really nothing at all, could cause that branch to come down and potentially impale someone or something on the ground. If you had kids, would you let your kids walk underneath that tree? See that widowmaker right there? We really shouldn't even be standing here, but that's something that's going to need to be addressed. But if I tilt the camera down and we look at the base of the tree to the right that has had the failure, look at that rot pocket. This is one of the things you want to look for when you're assessing the structural integrity of a tree trunk. Look for pockets of rot. A good way to determine how far gone the tree is you take something that you can probe into this pocket of rot. Really, I shouldn't be standing here, and I really should have a hard hat on. So let's check this out. That's how far that rot goes in there. About 14 inches. And the total base of this tree is about 25, 26 inches. This tree is a hazard. Look at this ash tree next to my shed. See anything wrong with this picture? Look at all this rot. I can literally stick a fist in here. This goes through this tree more than halfway. Look at that lean. Trees with pockets of decay are highly unpredictable, but I would say the most likely direction that this tree would fall in, due to its lean and where the decay is, would probably be in that direction, which would leave my shed safe, but it would leave my precious dump trailer and other homemade trailer in the line of fire. Those trailers need to be moved, and this tree needs to be taken down. Here's the mountainside of my property. Take a look at this tree right here. If we climb the trunk of that tree up about 45 feet, see where that massive break is? Take a look at where the rest of that tree is. It's awkwardly perched in this tree right here. That's a major hazard. This is the tree that I was supposed to trim back heavily this weekend. Although I don't see any obvious signs of decay or weakness, there are some major problems with this tree. I want to protect my house. And that's a lot of weight leaning towards the house. Problem is there's so many trees along this hillside, they're all fighting for sunlight, and the trees will do whatever they need to do in order to reach that sunlight. So although this may not look like an obvious hazard, to me this is a pretty big hazard because you have a lot of weight going towards the house, and especially in the summer and springtime when water starts going in that trunk, it's going to add more weight to the tree, and it does have the potential of splitting apart at the base right there, so I need to do some serious weight reduction and trim this back away from the house. Again, without even moving the camera tripod, if we look at this tree right here, there's my finger, and we follow this trunk up, there's another widowmaker right there. Every time I've been by this wood pile and splitting wood, I've really been putting myself in harm's way. I really need to address that. I just performed a risk assessment of this tree. Looking at the base of the tree did look very healthy, and additionally, the trunk of the tree looks healthy as far as the eye can see. I do see some dead wood up there that could potentially fall down at any point, so somebody will have to go up there at some point and trim that dead wood out of there. Another thing that you saw me doing there is I got right up close to the tree and I looked straight up along the trunk. And why I do this to look which direction the tree is leaning. And by going up to the trunk and looking straight up on two sides of the tree, I was able to determine that this tree has a slight lean towards the house. I want to protect the house. So also what I would like to do while I'm up there is do some weight reduction at the very least, just remove some of these big leaders that are right over the house. Alright, this tree is leaning towards the house a bit, especially that leader that goes off to the right. I don't see any widowmakers up there. There's a little bit of dead wood, but not much. I don't think it's too terribly unhealthy, but trees like these always have me nervous. So we have the main stem that goes up to the right and splits off into two, and we have a stem that goes off to the left. And looking at the base of this tree, it doesn't seem in too terrible a condition, but you can clearly see that line, and that line to me definitely indicates signs of weakness. What I would really like to do is, on the main stem, the stem that branches up to the right, there's a lot of branches that are starting to make contact with the house, and additionally, it's just a lot of weight going over the house. I'd really like to take that stem on the right and just remove it completely. I'll evaluate that further as time goes on, but the trunk of this tree, you know, you don't really know what's going on in there. It'd be a smart idea to take a piece of wire and start probing in there and see if you can feel any rot. But again, it's tree management and protecting your assets. So I think I'd really like to take that right leader off. A tree like this may also benefit from cabling, which cabling is actually when you go up the trees a ways and you take some eye hooks and some steel cable and you kind of cable two pieces of the tree together to kind of help strengthen the canopy system and prevent the tree from hopefully spreading apart. But again, this leader up to the right, I'd really like to remove completely, just protect the house. Things to think about. Take a look at this tree. On first glance, this tree does not look so bad. Let's go around to the other side of the tree. Wow, completely through at the base. You can see daylight on the other side. That tree needs to come down immediately. This tree, unfortunately, is leaning right towards the septic field. I'm hoping that I can do a hinge cut here, put a directional pulley from the top of this tree and try and yank it that way. I think I'll have pretty good luck in doing that, but again, this needs to be addressed sooner than later. This is extremely similar to that tree that came down in that brush fire 2 days ago. If you look at the inside of this tree, it's completely rotten. This is really dry wood. It doesn't take much for that to light up, and as soon as fire gets up in there, it just starts burning away all that wood that's just holding the rest of the tree up. And then this ash tree in there's got to be, a couple thousand pounds of weight up there, and especially when that's coming down with gravity, it doesn't take much to kill somebody. Still, really happy nobody got hurt the other day. Scary. Alright, I'm going to try and conclude this video here, and I really want to conclude this video with 3 key points, but before I name those 3 points, I really want to mention that this video is really not targeted for anyone in particular. This video is really targeted for everyone. Everyone from the fireman, the homeowner, to the person that just wants to take their dog for a walk in the park. So, what are the 3 things that you can do to better protect yourself and do a basic tree risk analysis? Well, first off, it's a really good idea to wear a hard hat. Even if you're just taking your dog for a walk in the woods, I mean, there's so many dead trees right now, so many dead ash trees, so many dead branches, widowmakers, everywhere you turn. Like, I see hazards literally everywhere. So wearing a hard hat definitely is number 1. Secondly, as you're walking through the woods, always look up. Always look out for dead branches, look for things that could potentially come down on you. And to build upon that, stay out of the woods on windy days. Windy days are especially dangerous. And third, look at the base of the trees. Look for signs of rot. There may not always be signs of obvious rot. Do a thorough investigation. Probe into pockets of rot if you think you see rot. You know, get a piece of wire, clothes hanger, and just probe it into the tree. Even if you see a small little opening, probe that wire in there and see how far that rot goes. That may help to give you a better understanding of how far gone the tree is. And additionally, like one of these last trees that I focused on, one side of the tree may look fine, but go around to the other side, it may tell a very different story. So again, wear a hard hat, always look up, stay out of the woods on windy days, and look at the base of the trees. Look for signs of rot and do a thorough investigation. So with that, hopefully a lot of you got some useful information out of this video to help protect you, your family, and your assets. And again, you know, just witnessing that tree come down 100 yards from me, almost taking out a whole company, it just happened so quick and so unexpectedly. Scary stuff. Be safe.